Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Sabrina.
Hafa
Can we just go right to this conference call that you were able to have with Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio and maybe just unpack that for us?
Yes, this was yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm. And so this one wasn't. This was dealing with housing relief, right?
Yes, absolutely. This is regarding that. I'm getting a lot of calls coming my way in Texas regarding evictions. One in particular the other day, and so I called up the lieutenant governor and asked him what is the administration doing at this point to try and address this issue. And they said it's a legal issue that they're trying to get through. They're going into a meeting to discuss this. They'll keep me updated. I asked him, please, this is probably one of the biggest issues right now that people of Guam are facing in this crisis. I'm getting calls from individuals who've been told that they have a week, and first you have to give them 30 days notice in any kind of eviction. So I said, you give me the number of that landlord, and I'll talk to that landlord myself. So working toward that, we were doing some research ourselves to try and see what we can do to help this along, push this along, and we found a resolution from California, signed by the governor of California. So I sent that over to Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio to review and see how they're doing it in California to avoid putting a moratorium on evictions during this crisis.
So you're saying that Governor Newsom, he signed an executive order for a moratorium, right? On
that would, yeah,
how
would
long?
Be yes, Sabrina, that would be the well, in California they're doing it up to the end of the May 31st,
right,
2020. But that would be the fastest way to do it right now, is to put in an executive order. Then for us to go into session and incorporate a law, let it go through the process. And we're even trying to find ways to get back into session and address some of these issues. But the fastest way right now is for the governor to do what she's been doing these last, couple of weeks, is putting in executive orders.
Okay. And let's go into the bill that was introduced to help the business community. Can you break that down?
It was myself and Senator Muñoz, as well as Senator Castro, put together legislation to try and put together a Guam stimulus package and incorporate everybody. It's more like an economic stabilization measure that would benefit not just one group of people, but everyone in general in Guam, from the business community to our community itself, our working class community. And this bill has a lot of components in it to address. And one was the reduction of the BPT down to 4%. But the difference with this one is it would go down to it would implement 4% until the end of the year. Not the end of the fiscal year, which ends on September 1st, but December 31st, 2020. And this is because we know this crisis is probably not going to, taper down until another month or so. And that would only give businesses a few months until the end of the fiscal year to try and recover. What we're trying to do is give them at least 6 months to try and recover from this crisis. And that was when actually, I wanted 3%, trying to get my colleagues to agree to 3% at least to the end of the fiscal year, but that could change. If this legislation gets on the floor, I will make an amendment to 3%. I mean, this is in, circumstances that we are in right now requires something very dramatic, and that is that 3%. But we settled to 4 because our intent is to try and get this on the floor and be addressed by our other colleagues.
When though, can you kind of, Senator, maybe, we had talked to a few of your colleagues yesterday about this effort, this apparently gargantuan effort to figure out how you guys can go into session. And I know there's just so many different schools of thought, and talking to some of your colleagues, I'm hearing one of them is like, oh, well, the governor's calling the shots. Let's let her just call the shots. And then some people are saying like, no, we need to get to work. This is when we're needed. So We tried to get the rules chair on this morning. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But in discussing it yesterday, is that kind of what needs to go on? Is they need to go in and look at the rules and reinvent the wheel, so to speak?
Absolutely, that's what needs to be done first if we're going to try and attempt doing session through, telecommunications.
Right.
To go through that route, we have to go through standing rules to change those standing rules first, and that allow us to do that.
What's your thought, though, Senator? Do you think that you guys should be going into session? I mean, we got a budget that's. Are we still doing the budget, or?
That's another thing too, because the law requires that the governor provide us the CER request or update report every 20th of the month. And that was one of the questions I asked the governor during our conference video call on Monday, was what is the report? Do you have the report out? She said the report is done. It's ready for the month of March on the 20th, which is due, and would give it to us. But I haven't seen it. I'm waiting for that report to come out. The other thing is that by law, in the event there's any change of revenue that's substantial to 3%, whether more than what's coming in projected revenue or less, she's required to provide us a budget that to alter the budget. So that is not until May. But the CER report, which is due March 20, which she said she had, would tell us what the financial condition now to date, or at least from April, of what our situation is right now. But we haven't got any of that. The only report that I received, and it's ironic because I received it through media, was a chart of the where she's pulling money out. The $4 million.
Right.
Did you guys receive that?
Yeah, we received it. Yeah.
You guys got that before I did.
That was like, a lady never tells.
I'm like, I need to follow you guys to find out all the information really from the legislature.
Senator. So now what we're seeing, and again, Senator Joe St. Augustine, he's another one of these guys who just doesn't respond. Frankly, it's ridiculous. I've been messaging Senator Joe St. Augustine since last year. And we ran into each other in passing, and he was like, "I figured out how to deal with you, ignore you," and that's my Joe St. Augustine.
God.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and call.
So I've messaged him, all week, like, "Hey, we got a budget going on. I mean, if you don't want to sit in the hot seat and answer questions,
You sure you
about
got the right phone number?
the finances, I'm pretty sure I got it because when you call it, he's got that. Hey, can't get to your call
right now. Here's what I
now."
suggest: every time there's a budget hearing. And you guys have every right to do so. Every time there's a budget hearing, then I suggest you guys come to that budget hearing. You don't just have the cameras and reporting it. Sit down. You're the community too. You sit down and you ask those questions. Sign in, testify, ask questions. That's your right.
Well, good idea. Well, you guys get the rules all figured out, and then we'll come to the hearing.
We'll come to the hearing and ask him the questions. I don't think he can dodge that.
It's ridiculous, man. And and so going to this
it is ridiculous, and I'm so sorry to hear that. I'll do everything I can to find out information that you guys need. Just give me a call.
Right. Thank you. And you're very accessible, Senator. But just going back to this $4 million of the quarantine is now some of you guys are saying that the governor didn't have the authority to transfer that money. And that was the letter that came out from Senator St. Augustine, which is why I messaged him last night. I said, "Hey, you can't send letters around to the media and then go hide and not answer questions. It's not how it works."
Very true. Very true. As well, I saw that last night, and we're doing our own research to look at the law to find out if this is true to form. I've also sent a letter to the governor asking her. The question is, what gives her the authority to use any revenue, excess revenue from a budget? How is she able to use the FY19 revenue? According to us, our legal,
right?
They don't think it's true, and my next step is go to the Attorney General. So now here's another question to the governor, asking her where her authority is to use more than $100,000 every month, and total $600,000 a year. She did veto the bill that authorized her $1 million.
Right.
But, the governor has transfer authority of, I believe it's 15% in the FY 2020 budget.
Right, Senator, but with this transfer authority, is it accurate to say that she's not able to transfer funds from education and the courts?
That part, that's what we're looking into as well. There's certain areas she can't transfer, like special funds, that the governor has no authority to. So it specifically has to state that the governor cannot transfer out. We know that the Flame, fund was one of those things the governor cannot transfer out. The only thing I can think what she's doing at this point is she is transferring this money, putting it in certain agencies, and the agencies are writing the checks. That's the only way I can think that's happening.
Well, when we got that document, the first thing I did was send it around. I sent it to our, the Judiciary PIO, and comment that we had got from. Let me punch that up because I'm not sure if we had included that.
Okay.
But the comment we got was, as of right now, we're not in a position to comment as we were just recently made aware of the situation. Yeah. And then, we also reached out to the University of Guam, to Jonas, and I've got their statement, though. I don't know if I read this, so let me read their statement on getting, I believe it's like $1 million. They got $1 million taken from their budget to help pay for their quarantine.
Again?
UOG's statement here, it's our responsibility to contribute in any way we can. Through our funding or through our knowledge and skills, UOG is doing its part to assist our island community during this time of emergency, whether that be leading and working on the front lines of the response effort, coordinating donations for supplies and meals for our COVID-19 call health surveillance centers, or providing social and psychological services. UOG will continue to provide innovative ways to fulfill our mission during these challenging times. Our faculty, staff, and administrators are committed to combating the spread of the coronavirus. So they released a 3-paragraph statement without actually mentioning the transfer, but I think the gist of that was like, hey, whatever we got to do to help,
You want me to go back to the bill so we can?
Yeah, I know we'll wrap this up.
Another way. I'm sorry that we got a little bit sidetracked there, but I just want to finish off on this. We've been working on it all last week, and other than the BPT, which she has already said that she is not going to lower the BPT, and this is that she's doing other measures. Well, that's not going to be enough. And whether the governor says that, the part now that we need is 10 senators to say, yes, we do need to lower the BPT. 10 senators is what we need.
Do you think you can get that?
Governor to do it. We need 10 senators to realize that it's not just the business community that we're helping. We're helping our community, the people who could lose their jobs. You're watching businesses shut down because they can't afford to stay open. And that's the case, that's the case now with the coronavirus. Now, can you imagine, take the coronavirus out of the picture, and you see businesses shutting down because they cannot afford to stay open. It's too expensive to do business on Guam. People have already been closing their business. So that means all those jobs, all this help that is needed out there in the community for people who are losing their jobs, providing stimulus money to them because they don't have a job. Well, that's what's going to happen if she does not help the business community and listen to them. Everything that she's decided to do was done on her own, and a group of advisors that we don't even know who they are.
Yeah, she had said, Senator, she had said that she has business people advising her, but nobody knows who these business people are.
Not even the chamber, and they're the largest group of business people on this island.
She got the cool business people, not the ones who hate her. She's like, I need some yes folks. Yep. Hey, how's that? Is that a good idea, business? Okay, yep.
I was just about to say the yes ones.
Yeah.
And when I asked her that question a couple of weeks ago, when she came up with this 5 points or 4 points it was to help the business community, I said, did you work with the chamber on this? And she didn't. I'll be meeting with them in a...
I mean, but to be fair, it's not like she has to, Senator. I mean, I just think that there's a lot of division, and a lot of it comes from her just refusing to give the chamber a seat at the table. I mean, she could just have them sit down. It would look so good, and then say no. You know what I mean? But
this is the majority of businesses in Guam, of course she needs
Right,
to include
yeah.
the chamber, at least one person from the chamber. But what she might, oh, I do have someone from the chamber. Yeah, but you have someone from the chamber that sits on the board. There's 20 people who sit on the board of the chamber. If you chose one of them, then at least they're at the table too, but it's not. So as we move on to the bill that we provided to try and provide some relief to the people of Guam and the businesses as well as the community, we also put in this legislation any kind of medical prescription drugs, healthcare, including fluids, syringe, surgical supplies, anything used for hospitals for professional use for medical is exempt from business privilege, BPT, as well as use tax as we go through. And there is a sunset clause on December 31st, 2020 for this one too as well. And the other one that we incorporated, of course, the LEAC, and I spoke to Simon Sanchez regarding the LEAC. He's saying there's a bond covenant issue, and I said, okay, well, we'll deal with that, but I'm happy to hear what GPA is doing. But the thing we need to ask CCU is, okay, you've come up with this decision to try and lower the rates. This is excellent, especially at a time like this. Now the next question is, how soon will PUC approve what CCU just did? Because sometimes it takes them 4 months.
Right, yeah.
And the legislation here, what we're doing is allowing the governor to go ahead and approve it right away without the PUC approval. Once CCU goes through a meeting and agree to lower any kind of rates, it can now go straight to the governor for approval. Doesn't have to go to the PUC, and that's what this is all about. It could be used even in the future, but there is a sunset clause on this one. Actually, I forgot to mention, Simon did tell me that the end of the month they're expecting the PUC to approve this. So,
oh, well, that's
fingers
like
crossed.
in 2 days.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed it does happen. He told
Right.
me that, and I'm holding him to it. So,
Well, we'll try to. Senator, thank you so much. It's 8 o'clock. We got to run.
okay, call me
Take care.
anytime, and I'll get some more information for you as much as I can to assist with the budget section of this. We're still waiting for that. Like I said,
Can you
report
just
that-
put a message in your senator chat to tell Senator Joseph Augustine that check Chris Barnett's messages?
Okay, will do.
Okay.
I will do that.
In your
Will
senator
most
chat.
Yeah, they have a senator chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you guys do, right?
likely. Yes, we do.
Ooh, I'd
we
love
do.
to be in
But
that one,
yeah.
man.
Me too.
I'd love
Yeah.
to be in that. Thank
Well,
you, Senator.
Thank you again so much for all you guys are doing. We have some great news coming from the federal side. That's hope for us. And again, be safe out there, people everywhere. You go, wear a mask, use sanitizer, but most especially just social distancing is what's helping us right now at this point.
Okay, Senator, thank you.
Pray for a vaccine.
There you go.
Yes.
And
Take care.
Go wash your hands. So 8:03. Yeah,